Eklavya was the son of a chief of the Nishad tribe, a tribe of the forest, hunters, considered low in the rigid order of the world he lived in. But Eklavya had a dream. He wanted to be an archer, the greatest archer the world had ever seen. And he knew who could teach him: Dronacharya, the greatest teacher of the martial arts in the land, royal preceptor to the princes of Hastinapur, a man of extraordinary skill and extraordinary reputation. Eklavya travelled to Dronacharya's Gurukul and stood before the great teacher and asked to be accepted as his student. Dronacharya looked at him. This boy from the forest, this son of a hunter, and turned him away. The Gurukul was for princes, for warriors of noble birth, not for a boy like Eklavya. A lesser spirit would have gone home, swallowed the rejection, found another path, or no path at all. Eklavya walked back into the forest and did something no one had ever done before. He found a quiet clearing and he built a statue out of clay in the image of Dronacharya. And every morning he stood before it, bowed to it, and practiced. He practiced until his fingers bled, until the arrows flew true in the darkness, until he could hear the sound of an animal moving through the forest and shoot an arrow towards the sound alone and hit it. For years he practiced, alone in the forest, with no teacher, no Gurukul, no encouragement, no witness, only the clay statue and his unwavering devotion to what it represented. One day, the Pandava princes came hunting in that forest, their dog running ahead through the trees. The dog found Eklavya and began to bark loudly, incessantly. Eklavya looked at the dog and in one smooth movement shot 7 arrows into the dog's open mouth, so precisely that the dog could no longer bark but was completely unharmed. The dog wandered back to the princes, its mouth filled with arrows, not a drop of blood. Arjun stared at it. He had never seen archery like this. No one had. They followed the dog's path back into the forest and found Eklavya, practicing before his clay statue. "Who taught you this?" Arjun asked. Eklavya touched the feet of the statue. "Dronacharya," he said. "He is my guru." Arjun went to Dronacharya, troubled. Arjun, who had been promised he would be the greatest archer in the world, had just seen a forest boy shoot 7 arrows into a dog's mouth without drawing blood. Dronacharya went to the forest and found Eklavya and saw the clay statue of himself. He looked at this boy, who had built him in clay when he had refused him in the flesh, who had practiced before his image for years, who had never been his student and yet called him his guru. Something moved in Dronacharya, and then he asked for his guru dakshina, the gift a student gives his teacher upon completing his training. "I am honored to give you anything," Eklavya said. "What do you ask?" "Your right thumb," Dronacharya said. Everyone present went still. Every archer who has ever lived knows what the right thumb means. It is how the bowstring is drawn. Without it, the art is gone. Eklavya looked at Dronacharya for a long moment, and then he drew his knife and cut off his right thumb and placed it at Dronacharya's feet. "I am grateful," he said, "that you have called me your disciple." I have sat with this story for a long time. Eklavya's devotion is not in question. It never was. What he built in that forest, what he became, is one of the most extraordinary things in all of the Mahabharata. But the Mahabharata itself calls Dronacharya's demand Daruna, terrible. Even the text does not look away from what was asked. Eklavya was refused because of who he was born to, not because of what he was capable of. And then, when his capability could no longer be denied, he was asked to give it up. That is the part of this story that has never sat easily, that should never sit easily. And yet, Eklavya gave without hesitation, without bitterness, without demanding that the asking be worthy of the giving. Because for Eklavya, the devotion was never about Dronacharya. It was about something he had built inside himself. In that clearing, in those years of solitary practice, before the clay statue, in the dark, alone. Something no one could ever ask for or take away. Dronacharya blessed him as he left. Even without your thumb, you will be remembered as the greatest disciple who ever lived. And Eklavya practiced again, this time with his remaining fingers, and became extraordinary again. I'll leave you with one question to carry into your day. Is there something you have built inside yourself so quietly, so completely, that even if someone asked you to give it up, it would already be yours forever? This has been The Long Thread. Ancient stories for the present moment. Tomorrow, another thread.